ended up here today and why this collection was so important to conceive based on the visits and what I was seeing when I was on site at SmartWorks. And let's maybe go back a little bit. Should I hold for sound? They're grateful back there. When I first moved to the UK, it was incredibly important to me personally to be able to connect with people on the ground doing really important work. And one of the places that I went to very early on was SmartWorks. Now, funny enough, and purely by coincidence, it was just a year ago at this same time that I was working on a project in Grenfell with this woman at a community center called Almanar, and that's when we put together the Together cookbook. So though this is a year later, and obviously this is fashion, not food, at its core, these are very similar projects because they're about women who are empowering each other, me being able to have the opportunity to meet them, get to know them, learn from them, and then say, what can I do in some small way? How can I try to help you amplify this? How can we make this even better, greater, and more impactful for the women that you're trying to help? So on my visits to SmartWorks, one of the times that I went, I realized there was a little bit of a challenge in terms of styling for the women because we had a lot of donations, but not necessarily the things that women needed to have. I said, okay, well, let's try to work with what we have and make the best of it. And then the next time I went, you'll remember this, there was a rack of about 40 or 50 lilac-colored blazers. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a great blazer. And I'm sure for someone, it's exactly what she wants to be wearing. But for most women, when you're going in there and you want to have a job interview and you want to feel your very best and you want to feel confident, you want to be wearing the pieces of clothing that make you feel that way and not the leftovers that didn't sell from the end of a season. And I kept thinking about it as I went home and it didn't track for me and I said, we have to do something to change this. And a big piece of this is trying to transform the idea of charity to community. And the way that we do that, I think, as people, is when we go into our closet as a woman and you say, I'm going to make a donation, you don't go through your closet and just toss in a box whatever you don't care about anymore. That's charity as we know it today. Community is going through your closet and saying, this is the blazer that I wore when I nailed my first job interview and got my dream job. And I don't need that anymore because I'm where I want to be. But if I'm able to share that blazer and be part of another woman's success story, then that's community. And so when I thought about it in that personal space, I said, on a bigger level, what can we do with brands and what companies would be able to help us convene and come together to really build a collection for the women of SmartWorks that could be the pieces that they need to feel confident going into those rooms. And this is sort of how we thought of the SmartWorks capsule collection. The first designer that I thought of immediately was a really good friend of mine, Misha Nunu, who has spent a lot of time with her brand ethos developing women's empowerment, but also specifically a capsule wardrobe. So you have key pieces that you can mix and match and really maximize what you have. We all know that in your closet, right? You have certain pieces that you can take from 4 items of clothing and suddenly you have 10 outfits. So that was really important. Separately, I thought, if this is going to be classics and essentials, what are traditional and quintessential British brands that I've become introduced to once I moved here that for me resonated and I knew would resonate with a SmartWorks customer? And that seemed obvious to do M&S and John Lewis, which I've worn quite a bit in the past year or two since I've been here, and they thankfully said yes as well, as did Misha. And then the last company that I wanted to have be a part of this project was Jigsaw. And truth be told, that was because I had seen a campaign they had done the year before, that was really highlighting the diversity of the UK and the immigrant culture and how that was part of the fabric of the nation. And when I saw that, I was so touched by it. And I said, anyone who's seeing the world that way and seeing the community that way is someone that I think would be a great partner to have on this project. So they all said yes. And that was a great start. And so thank you so much for that. As we've seen this evolve, I think what's been really amazing is to know that these women will now be equipped in a project that will just be a couple weeks, but will give us enough units to be able to have the women at SmartWorks have these key essentials for a year. And that in and of itself, to be able to have one small project that has such big impact is something that I'm really connected to. This is the kind of work that I've been doing for a really long time, and to be able to do it here in my new home of the UK means quite a bit to me. It's also the same vein of work that my husband and I will continue doing, really strong community-based projects. And this is something that we'll be excited to be able to share more about next year when we launch our foundation, Sussex Royal, in 2020. So I think at the end of the day, I just want to thank all of you for being able to be here, be a part of this success story for these women. I think it's really key in this day and age that we remember it's not just about the people that you know that you're supporting. It's about the people that you don't know, that you may never know, you may never meet. As women, it is 100% our responsibility, I think, to support and uplift each other, to champion each other as we aim to succeed, to not set each other up for failure, but instead to really be there rallying around each other and say, I want to help you. And you may not ever meet that person, but you'll know when you put on that blazer or that shirt or you carry that tote or put on those trousers or that dress that some other woman on the other side of this country is wearing that piece because you made that purchase. And that's why the one-for-one model I found was so incredibly important, and that's why I'm really touched that everyone agreed to do this business model in that way. One quick thing that I found out as we were in the car on the way over here was that the tote's already sold out online. So that's great. And my hope is for any of the brands, if you do have that level of success that you're seeing really early on, to hopefully amplify what you've been able to already be so generous in doing with your contribution and extend it for just a little bit more so that everyone can play a part in this shared success story. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and I will hand it over to you on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, sitting up here, we have...
I was just about to say, feeling nice and cool in the shade. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Kate, can you tell us a little bit from the point of view of SmartWorks what this actually, that was the most eloquent articulation of everything this means for us as SmartWorks.
I really mean that. We actually had a little bit of a trying on session with some of the girls. And the suit and the dress just looked good on every single person that tried it on. I mean, it was amazing. It kind of transformed them. And also, who doesn't need a beautiful leather tote bag to go with your outfit? You know, it's perfect. These clothes, I mean, we all know about the transformative power of clothes. That's nothing new, but it's amazing.
So Zara, could you help explain to us what the experience is when you first arrive at Smart?
Can't see Ella yet. She's everyone's biggest fan. She's incredibly enthusiastic and supportive and uplifting. And I remember she dressed me in this incredibly flattering sort of pencil skirt fitted dress, and I wore that to my interview, and I did get the job because the team helped me.
And you're still in the job now?
It was a last-minute addition, and I love the flexibility of SmartWorks. There must have been chaos behind the scenes, like, she's coming! And really not in place to actually have that. And so when I walked into SmartWorks and they were like, we're going to also interview coaching, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get coached, so I know about this. And so after I had the dressing experience, and I remember the outfit, I would never have styled myself that way. It was, no, because they continue to bring more women in, but then the women that they previously worked with, they had networking events for them. They had like stations. It's just like they've been
In our regional centres, you think this capsule collection is going to go down?
Well, right now, the collection is in all of our centres. There are ladies being dressed in these amazing clothes, so it's just such a wonderful feeling to know that. So thank you again. And just to know that brands like this really care about them is just wonderful. Just as the Duchess was saying, you might not have met this person.
Yes, of course. How are you? Good to see you. Oh my God. Pretty amazing. It's a wonderful woman. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Gosh, I'm so happy that you are. It's great. No, it's really special. So thank you. And as I was saying, everything about that campaign just wasn't very on my radar. It's just a way to make me go,
the story.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Hi there, how are you?
I'm really well. I'm Lisa, head of design for Magazine.
Oh,
Emily.
yes, nice to meet you. Thank you. Well, that
Thanks
dress
so
is
much.
perfect, right? Because belted or not. That's why when we did the shoot, I said, hold on, let's
I know,
belt it, let's
I know.
change it up. So people can really
And I love the fact that a modern style titles been chosen just not to people.
Exactly.
Maybe because they're confident, which I'm really
Yeah. No, we are too.
really
Thank
thrilled to
you.
work with Smart Works and
Yes.
Smart Set.
Oh, good. Thank you. Everyone loves it. Yeah. I can't wait for the dress too. So
Me too. I
yeah.
love so colours.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty great. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. Everything going well?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It was amazing, amazing experience.
Oh, it's really
It's
kind.
an amazing collection.
That's
Really exciting.
But it's everyone coming together. I mean, that was one of the pieces where I thought, you know, it's also really rare when you see all these competitive brands work together as a team. It's just another layer of the story, right? Where you're putting purpose over profit, right? And you're putting community ahead of any sort of comparison. Because at the end of the day, it's not what matters. That's why I love so much. Is Vintage just is one brand, but it doesn't tell the story in the same way. So I'm so glad. Thank you. Hi there. So nice to meet you. What's your name? Claire. Nice to meet you, Claire. Thank you. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope everybody's enjoying it. And we got beautiful weather today, too. It is. It's sweltering, though. So much. Thank you.
Here's Maggie darling, our
Hello.
vice chair. How nice to meet you. You spoke so well.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
It's been a while. Everything you've done.
Oh, my pleasure.
And suddenly you come down to the country and the world seems a different place.
Bill Lewis, who's just started interview coaching.
Wow, it's a fantastic process, isn't it? That's one of my favorite parts of being there.
Absolutely amazing. It's really wonderful how the women had so many great stories.
So nice to meet you. You've done such wonders for this charity.
Oh, no,
You've
it's
really,
really
really
pleasure.
Let me introduce you to the ladies who CEO of John Lewis.
Oh, good to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being with us. This is such a thrill. We're so happy to have you for it. And one of the things we really mentioned every time I would go, this whole handbag selection. Right?
Oh, the worst.
Where you just
Yes.
say, you don't need a range to go in orange to go to interview. So thank you for fulfilling that void.
Finally got a breeze up there.
You got it? No, it's just great, and that campaign really for me, it resonated in a huge way. And I love your story. Thank you for saying yes.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Whenever.
This is great. Really appreciate it.
And they look fabulous in them, so.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Of course. It's amazing. Your speech was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And meeting the women has been so meaningful. I mean, they're extraordinary.
Well,
their stories.
well, you know, Misha's so hands-on in terms
yeah,
of when she comes
I mean,
in.
so amazing.
You know, so
yeah, and like Kate up there, the wow, look at me. Like, it's just it's so spectacular.
Thank you guys, all of you. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Have fun today.
Big
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And then we have a lovely clients who will say hello to you. Yes. Thank you, Jane, and everything. Wow, it's really great. Yeah. Okay, so just amazing. I wish I knew all of us. I want to know. No, you all need to be seen. Let me speak back.
Oh, you look amazing.
Yes. The crew.
Yeah.
together. We've got a little WhatsApp group.
That's the thing. It's like then you realize how much more we have in common is what we have in common that makes us different, right? The things that bridge the gap instead of widen it. And I think that's what's so key is like all you have to do is take a minute, talk to each other, and suddenly when you're reminded of the connection we have as human beings and as women, especially that additional layer, then you go, we're all in this together. And the moment that we forget that, things go wrong. The moment we remember that, things get so much better. So keep it up. Thank you. You know what's so funny about this? Like, it's not what's up like a week ago. I've never had it. I still know what's all the fuss about it. Yeah, we'll see. I'll just pop in one day. Waving emoji. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Phil gang.
Yeah. I know, we're all in the same look.
That's great. Thank you so much. It's just so exciting.
My pleasure. Can you believe they're already doing that? Yeah, good. Thank you. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say that. Say it. So, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for everything. Enjoy the day. Yes, thank you. I can get that baby feed time. Thank you. Oh,